Welcome to today's first panel talk, day 2 of Fashion Sustain on Neonit. I'm really looking forward to it, to talk with our guests about digital transformation in the fashion industry. The headline of this panel is Digital Transformation. Transformation is what you make of it. Digital transformation is accelerating at unprecedented speed across the retail industry. We could see this in the pandemic even more and even with a higher velocity. This requires retailers to shift their business models and mindsets towards agility to scale in disruptive environments. In this panel, we want to reflect on what's to consider to set up digital transformations and the now essential agility in organizations. Our panelists that are really highly qualified experts in this field, they will hopefully exchange on the importance of platforms for the retail business and show us how data is key to provide excellent customer experiences and how artificial intelligence can drive forecasting to optimize operations. Since this is a quite complicated topic and can be very abstract, we want to focus on really hands-on topics and want to structure this panel talk into 3 chapters. We would like to start with success factors for the digital transformation and then have a closer look on platforms in retail. And last but not least, we'd like to have a focus on the importance of data. But first of all, I would like to thank the panelists to participate and introduce them really briefly. To my right side sits Susanne Arnoldy. She is partner at PwC, and she has more than 23 years of experience in digital business-led IT transformations worldwide in SAP and non-SAP environments. And besides the client activities, she's responsible for everything digital in the German PwC advisory and the European EMEA consulting leadership team. Susanne, will hopefully share interesting lessons learned from her Lighthouse projects and give her perspective on not less than the digital future of commerce. Next to her sits Patric Spethmann. He is COO of fashion brand Marco Polo, and as a COO, he will share his experience from transformation projects and discuss highly relevant topics such as platform and data strategy and their implementation, for example, via data lakes. And hopefully, he will explain how Marco Polo is driving the necessary mindset change in the company and among the employees. Really looking forward to learn about this. Now I would like to include our digitally connected panelists up there. We have Philipp Vospeter. Hi, Philipp. He is CEO of Westphalia DataLabs. And as the CEO of Westphalia DataLabs, Philipp will provide in the next minutes exciting insights into the automation and optimization of retail relevant forecasts. And he is especially an expert on how you could use artificial intelligence to do so. Last but not least, Andreas Krostewitz, also from PwC. He's Senior Manager Valuation and Strategy and has more than 12 years of experience in valuing intangible assets like brands, patents, customer relationships, and data. He deals with data-driven value proposition analysis, and explains how the value of brands and customer relationships can be increased with data analytics.
Hi, Tim.
Okay, I hope everybody feels described in an okay manner by this. Yes. If you want to add something, feel free. Otherwise, I would start with Patric and shoot the first question to him. Patric. You gained experience in steering digital transformation at various retailers. So what would you say are critical success factors for a successful digital transformation?
Yeah, Tim, thank you very much. From my point of view, digital transformation should be based on 5 key pillars. The first of all is that the understanding of the employees and that digital transformation is not a hype, that it's the future business. This has to be arrived. Secondly, the management alignment is very important too, as digital transformation comes along with a lot of changes in progresses, processes, and also of the way of working. Further, the alignment of the stakeholders is crucial too, as digital transformation projects are coming with high costs along, and these costs have to be funded. And as these costs do not impact positively directly turnover and earnings, it's important to have the stakeholders also on site. Then a digital transformation program is a program and not a project. That means it is enduring and it's along the complete time span to bring it from A to B. And then last but not least, a digital transformation comes along with a lot of changes. And therefore, it's important to have a change team also in parallel to the program. And if you don't have an own change team, actually, you have to have the right partners on hand to have a change team.
I think we will dig deeper in some things concrete what you make at Marco Polo later on. But thank you for this impressions at the first for the first answer. Susanne, I would like to switch over to you. You have traditional and digital native retailers to build a solid foundation for future scalability. So what strategies are important for both of them for a really bright future? What should they do?
Yeah, I think first of all, it's important to say that in times where stores have been closed over several months or where regulations came in overnight, for example, with click and collect, everyone has understood that it's important to think about his own digital transformation. Also, another aspect is if we think about customer behavior or customer expect even more that they have a seamless integration over all those different kinds of channels. They want to interact within your ecosystem, independent if you're in a store, in an online store, or if you scroll over different kind of social media environments. So it's important that we always have a user-friendly and seamless integration. And what could be a very good starting point is perhaps you should think about what is your overall strategy when it comes to digital. Or what is your vision, your mission, where do you want to go to? And it always needs to be embedded in the overall company's strategy. Well, that's important to think about. And another point is think about your operational processes. And there it's independent if you are digital native or not. You need to think about where can you optimize the operational processes, where can you standardize, automate. So always think how you can be even better and more efficient in your backbone to have even more time for the more customer valued services.
Thank you. Philip, high quality data, we also want to talk about data, and digitalization has a lot to do with data. High quality data is of growing importance for example, to generate meaningful insights. What would you say? What should retailers consider in their digital transformation in order to create a valuable database like this? And if they want to use artificial intelligence in the next step as well, what do they have to keep in mind?
Yeah, first of all, I'm a little bit referring what Susanne said. Most of the companies have, of course, a corporate strategy. Some companies nowadays have a digital strategy, but most of the companies do not have a data strategy. So when we meet our customers first times, we ask them, what is your data strategy to become a data-driven company, to work with data in all of your departments? Where is the strategy for that, and where are the use cases you would like to implement and the milestones you would go on this road? So, and most of the companies don't have that. And we call that, setting the foundation first, like cleaning up the cellar. Yeah. You need to clean up your cellar with transactional data and master data from your old systems, from your legacy systems. You need sometimes to implement new systems, new technology stack to collect data that you can profit later on to run artificial intelligence solutions. So, and this is a step most companies, just do not like to go and say, oh, it takes a long time, costs a lot of money. Let's start maybe next year when we have a new budget, and next year then they say we start the year after, and they just do not start. And we think it's really to become a data-driven company is a marathon. It's not a sprint. You need to start as soon as possible to collect data, to have the right data, and then define use cases, and then starting to implement. Then it takes a long time.
Maybe we can stay here one more minute. We hear from many retailers that they collect already data. And they have their customer, they have the customer community. They have data maybe written on paper, or they have or somewhere in their own ecosystem, but they don't do anything with it because there's data, but What now?
Yeah. This is again a problem, and in digital transformation, when I used to be responsible for digital transformation at another company, it was my main task to bring together all the departments. You know, every department has data in silos, and they already collecting data for many years, but they are not combining them. And when we talk about to become a more intelligence company with data, to implement data science use cases, you need to combine many different data sources from many different departments. So, and this interdisciplinary work, this is change management for most of the companies. And this is where we go in also very hard to bring together different departments, because you push creativity, you push the speed of implementation of use cases. All this is really benefiting from bringing it together. And as you said, we have a lot of data available, but we are at the moment, many of our customers are not able to use them in the right way.
So that's good that we have Patric here. He has data and he has people in the company. And because the next question is for you, because as you said, Philip, digital transformation is not only about the technology, it's also about the people that have to work together, that have to break up the silos. We have technology, we have processes, and then we have the mindset. So, and what would you say at Marco Polo? What are the key ingredients to the lasting and successful performance and transformation in this area to really work with the data you maybe already had?
As a digital transformation program is changing the complete business environment. So from my point of view, it's important that you have ownership, being agile, and automation as the key ingredients to be successful in digital transformation programs. With ownership, I mean that you have to be responsible for the program per se, but nevertheless also to own the solution you implement, so that you do not need to rely on vendors to run your normal daily business. And this comes along with an agile mindset and an agile organization. So within a fluid organization, it is possible to react faster to the changing organization and clients' needs. So DevOps and being agile, they are not buzzwords for Marco Polo, and they are not only a way of new working. So they are anchored within the DNA of Marco Polo per se.
Would you say that there is a certain point what makes it especially maybe easy or maybe hard for the fashion industry to be agile? I mean, agility means you have to reinvent yourself and question if your latest solution was good enough. I mean, like a collection, you always say, okay, this is the shirt for this season, and next season we will iterate it anyway. So is the fashion industry a little bit agile per default, or maybe rather not, because you have different departments. You have the designers, they are designers. Then you have data specialists that say, maybe I don't care about fashion trends and so on.
I think that we could not mix it up. So being agile and being fast are two different streams. Yeah? So fashion industry is fast for sure. They have to have a very, very short time span to reinvent products, always new. But this is not agile. Agile is changing the thinking of how to implement new ways of working, how to make projects, and so on. So I think this has to be understood per se as the basis.
But if you implement agility, you implement this not only in the data-driven department, or in the data or software IT department or the processing, but also in HR, in creativity, in sourcing. This is for them as well, right?
It is changing the complete business, right? But normally it starts within the digital departments, because being agile, so it comes along with Scrum techniques and so on. They are learned, they are skilled up. The people they run digital departments, actually, they are a little bit more familiar with these kind of new ways of working than, let's say, in the complete other environment in the business, actually. But nevertheless, by the end of the day, the complete business has to be changed.
So, and Scrum is something you use for the whole company, or only in certain parts, or are you expanding it, or like, for example,
I didn't want to open up this topic, right? Because Scrum per se, you can have at least another hour. But what I want to say is that there are different techniques which comes along with the agile mindset. And it is not important to rely on Scrum or whatever, actually. So it is more important that you have the understanding that the mindset and the organization has to be changed in an agile, fluid, whatever thinking process. So it's a process actually to reinvent your business every day new.
Reinventing the business is a very good buzzword for the next question I would like to address to Susanne. Like the COVID pandemic, the pandemic presented retailers with many challenges. For example, to like implement something like click and meet overnight. Like they didn't have the time to say, okay, let's do it next month or in half a year or something. So what would you say? How should retailers position themselves in the future? Right? We can say, okay, we know how to make click and meet and to make a login or have the Luca app or anything. But maybe the next thing, maybe we have a next wave of the pandemic, but maybe this will be something completely different. How can a company, a retailer be prepared for this to be more, yeah?
And I have 3 different kind of aspects, how they should prepare themselves. A little bit what already has been said by Patric. So it's about IT scalability, and as Patric also said, it's fast adoption and it's agility. So, and what do I mean with that? With IT scalability, or customers want to have a very good experience, independent if they shop overnight or during Black Friday. So your IT environment need to be very scalable. The point fast adoption, or business and IT need to work closely together to adapt very fast to customers' needs, or how we have seen it with COVID, or so a kind of a crisis. So that you need to be very fast when you want to change something. And a good example how you can do it is if you work more with microservice environments in your customer-centric services, so that you can be faster compared to the past. And the third point, agility, as already has been said by Patric, or it's important that especially if you think about digital transformation programs, it doesn't make sense or to have a very long program over 3 or 4 years. You always need to think about what is my scope, what is my minimal viable product, so what can I really reach within a very limited time and when life is at. So how can I structure and put in different kind of pieces? So how can I really split the big elephant in different kind of elements? So really think about, or how can you be more agile when you think about scope, how to work closely more with the business and to concentrate on the output.
When you have a look at the fashion industry has, per definition, mostly long lead times because garments have to be designed, produced, and so on. Would you say the fashion industry has other challenges than other industries, or would you say it doesn't?
I think every industry has its challenges, I would not say that the fashion industry has it more than, for example, food retailers. You always have your cycles which you need to run through, and some of them are longer or not longer. I think important is always how you can adapt very fast to customer needs.
One business model that gained traction not only during the pandemic, but I think it grew up the velocity of the growth is the platform business for sure, especially in the fashion industry. Since shops has been closed, digital e-com went up. So there are prognoses that in 2021, 62% of all online purchases, generally speaking, will be made via marketplaces. So Patric, from your point of view, would you say platform business is in retailing, that's rather a trend, or is it something you should focus on for the next years, decades?
No, it's not a trend. So it will be part of our future business world. So as the stores, the online stores, they have convincing arguments like 24 hours, 7 days a week open. You can easily switch stores. You can compare prices and items. You have easy payment methods, and you can easily send items back if you do not want them or do you need them actually. But on the other side, store-affiliated retailing will also be a part of our foreseeable future, as the convincing arguments within store-affiliate business, they are also there actually. Like you can evaluate products with all your senses, like you have personal services, and you gain more information by having some stuff around which are giving you all the information you want. And nevertheless, actually, you have the direct availability of items. But as the online and platform business is still growing, and it will grow further. So the remaining part of store affiliate retailing, it will decrease. So that means we will have platform business, marketplaces, we have e-com, we will have store affiliated business. Both are the parts of our future business world, but only the stores, store affiliated business, which differentiates very, very sharp and detailed to marketplaces by strengthening their services, by inspiring customers as shopping as an event. So they will remain, and they further have to have good locations. Actually, all other actually will have it really, really hard.
So you would say a shop should not try to imitate the e-shop, like a physical brick and mortar shop should not try to imitate the e-com shop, but has to have its own character, like to create an experience for the customer or a certain environment or inspiration, anything like this. If you're talking about brick and mortar shops.
Yeah, they have to differentiate their business model, right? And they have to sharpen what is key for store affiliate business. And customers, if they want to go to store affiliated stores, if they want to go to shopping, actually, shopping has to be an event, right? So it is more than just buying things.
Yeah, and I guess still those shops will collect and gain data about the shopping processes that are made there. And then I would go up and include our digitally connected experts in this panel. Philip, with DataLab, with the Westphalia DataLab, you develop forecasts that are based on historical company data. And to do so, you use artificial intelligence. So what would you say, why is it important for retailers that interact as platform partners to leverage forecasting?
Yeah, well, it can have many advantages if I know, for example, how many shoes I will sell next week. So the number itself of the forecast, if I'm not doing anything with it, is not very interesting for our customers. But if I'm integrating the forecast deeply into my supply chain processes, it can have many advantages. Like, for example, I'm having the right stock in the right location. If I'm a retailer who operates in whole Europe, I would like to have a good customer experience and deliver, if something is ordered online overnight to the customer, I need to have the stock in the right warehouse in the country where it was ordered. And we can forecast that very exactly, which sneakers, for example, will be probably ordered in the next 1 or the next 2 weeks to already fulfill the supply chain. And then of course you can reduce your working capital, because I'm as a producer, I'm as a retailer, I'm having the right stock. And this is of course something which pays into the topic of sustainability. I'm not having too much overstock, because we think you're having the right things in the warehouse, and after the season you do not have to destroy so many stock, because we already knew what's going to be ordered and sold.
So, like in a nutshell, the fashion industry, like years ago, used to make forecasts like, okay, this summer we sold like 20% more short-sleeved shirts, so maybe we should order for next spring again 20% more short-sleeved shirts. So this is, of course, really, really briefly and not correct like this, but you get the point. What does your model make differently? Like to say, we don't only look back and see, okay, the trend is going to short-sleeved shirts, let's produce more and more, but maybe to see if the wave is breaking.
We are also leveraging the internal historical data with external data. So we are analyzing trends and combining them with the internal data, and also external data, for example, like weather, to have a very short related forecast. Because of course, if you look into the future and say, I would like to know how many t-shirts I will sell in 8 months, it becomes not very exact, the forecast. But I can know how many shirts I will sell in the next 1, 2, or let's say 4 weeks. So as the fashion industry also is moving faster and faster, this is also becoming more and more relevant. no? Because in the past you ordered your season stock like 6 months ahead. Now everything is really moving faster, and now the forecast we are producing also with external data like weather data is very relevant for our customers, not only in the fashion industry but also in the food industry, in the grocery industry. They have the same issues and problems.
Could you also use like political data or medical data and say, okay, people have to stay at home, so maybe they will order more track pants next month, or well, that's good, lockdown is not there anymore, people are going out, having parties, they want to buy dresses.
Yes, we haven't done that, but thanks for the good idea. So I will hand it over to our innovation team.
Okay. Yeah, to go back to the platform idea, Susanne, I would like to ask you, what would you say, which capabilities retailers need to build up in order to be successful in the platform business in the long run? We just heard it's not a trend, it's going to stay there for the next years.
I think they should start to think about what is the strategy, what is your platform strategy, what is your end-to-end data strategy. When you think about a platform strategy, you need to think about where do I want to be, or which kind of platforms do I want to use, or do I need an own platform? Do I want to serve a platform for others? Where do I want to place my products? How do I want to combine it? How does it fit from an overall point of view to the overall picture, like Patric has already said it, or how can a platform strategy support my store business, vice versa? All those kind of questions need to think through. Second point is when you think about data, or we just heard it from everyone here, you need to think about what is your end-to-end data strategy. So where do you want to create data? Where do you want to enrich them? Where do you want to import them? So the overall point of view, how do you want to handle your data from a governance point of view? You need to have data principles in place. You really need to think about that as well. And then you need to go towards or a kind of a capability view, but you need to start from an overall point of view. So this is my recommendation.
Would you say like the platform strategy only applies to the product or service you offer, or also for communication? Like we had, for example, we had like brand like Bottega Veneta decided to exit all social media channels. Like these are also kind of platforms, Instagram, Facebook. Would you say this is also important to include in kind of a platform strategy, like the communication?
Everything. And you need to think about how your different kind of channels fit into that platform business. And it's independent if you speak about social media or if you speak about store business. So how is the bigger picture from a digital point of view? And then you have different kind of aspects. Or how do you want to interact in the platform business? How do you want to handle data? So you need to have really a big picture and think about how everything fits together.
And could a strategy also be not to be on any platform?
Sure.
Could
sure.
be? What kind of brand could do this? Like, what would you say?
What kind of brand? I think you just need to Google it, or if you ask into the market. There are some retailers who have really decided not to use specific platforms, and then to work together also perhaps with other partners, other retailers to have an own or combination, an own platform. There are thoughts in the markets, definitely. We need to think about that.
Yeah. Interesting, really interesting, I think. But most companies are on platforms or trying to expand their presence on different platforms. Andreas, I would like to ask you, a specialist in the evaluation of intangible assets, like being a platform partner. So what's the value of it if you evaluate a company or a brand? What's the value of being a platform partner? Has it a value?
Definitely, it has a value. But when you think of the value of being a platform partner, you have to think about how does it fit to your business model and how is it contributing to value creation within your company. When you think about value creation within your company, you have to think about, okay, how is it contributing to one of your most important assets within your company, and that is your customer base. And it helps you to understand your customer base, and it helps you also to sustain your customer base. Being on a platform gives you access to a broad range of customers. And since you're, especially in the fashion industry, you do not have long-term contracts with your end customers. Yeah, you have a fast-moving customer base, which, and as Patric and Philip also explained, moving around, looking from store to store and switching between products. You have to assure that you replace your existing customers with new customers. And a platform is a good way of getting access to a broad range of customers. And it also helps you to understand the forces, what drives customers to your stores and what drives customers to other stores. When we think of the value of being a platform partner, it's this positive impact, but it also have a negative impact, increased competition on that marketplace. But at the end of the day, I would say it's creating more value to the company than being not part of a platform, but it has to fit to your business model.
So it also could decrease the value if you are, for example, on too many platforms or the wrong platforms.
Yeah, it's a question of how you allocate your scarce resources, and how you want to target your customer base. So I think, as Susanne already explained, it has to fit to your digital strategy, and that is a strategic decision, being on several platforms or even not being on any platform at all. It has to fit to your digital strategy. Yes.
Yeah, a couple of years ago, a buzzword or sentence, a phrase was data is the new oil. I think, yeah, maybe it is kind of, but oil is getting less and less, like we burn it. And data's been more and more, we really gain a lot of data. Many companies are on different platforms connected to them and gain their data. Patric, what would you say? This growing amount of data, how can you leverage it at Marco Polo? How do you do this? How do you deal with the growing amount of data?
Yeah, when you consider the already huge amount of data which is existing, and you are anticipating the upcoming exponential increasing amount of data, actually, data warehouses have to be rethought from scratch. That means a technology which is scalable, which is reliable, which is available. This is the new basis. Therefore, we are transforming our legacy data warehouse into a new data lake infrastructure by setting up different data cubes, which are set up on hyperscalers like AWS and Azure and co. And these machines, they provide us data nearly in real time. They are highly reliable, actually, and so set up the new platform to work with data. So this is about, but besides the technological perspective, it is also important to manage data. So therefore, we decided to implement SAP CAR system because we want to centralize all information about our customers, all transactional informations about customers in one single system, which were previously spread all different systems and which came along in different formats, actually. And this single source of data, this allows us to work in the future with these data to set up data science, to derive prediction analysis, and to set up the basis for AI.
And the fashion industry is highly heterogeneous. Like we have like own retail, own e-com, we have platform business, we have e-concessions, and we have franchise stores and whatever different things. And then also internationally, is this something what you just described that helps you to manage all these heterogeneous distribution channels? I don't know if Marco Polo has all of them, but quite a few, I'd say, like some own retail, own e-com and platforms. So does this help to manage the data coming in from those different?
I mean, therefore, maybe fashion is a really, really an interesting case, because a fashion industry nearly has all different channels to distribute items, like B2B business, B2C business, like e-com, own retail, franchise stores, whatever, partners, international. So many different places where data can be derived, actually. And our customers, they buy along all channels, actually. So therefore, it is necessary to bring all data together, to identify the customer needs, and then to make the right conclusions and the right predictions, and this will support our business in the future.
So the customer should not recognize any breaks if he goes into a franchise store or into an own store, or if he's on a platform, he should have the same like customer or not maybe the same customer journey, but the same experience, good seamless experience, no matter where he shops, right?
I mean, we talked about that already, yes. So that e-com platform and so on, they have convincing arguments to buy their shops also. And now it's the time to combine them. That a customer who wants to go into the store and he wants to buy items but return them on by sending the mail a parcel back to the e-com store, actually. These information, these data, and they have to be combined. That it's the same customer we are talking about who goes to stores and buys there, but send it back, and to make the right conclusions out of that. I mean, this is crucial, right?
Yeah, I think that's quite important what you just said, that to keep the customer in focus, like the end consumer, that how he deals with the products and the brand, and that he doesn't have to have different experiences in how to deal, how to make to sending back his products or whatever he does. So Andreas, what would you say if you take data analytics? How can this help to increase the value of brands and their customer relationships?
Definitely, data analytics can help to understand your assets like customer base or brands. It helps to understand what drives the value of these assets. And today we are in a good position. We have a big data lake within the company, but also good access to external data. And if we are or if we use this data right, we can understand the impact of these assets to corporate success and also to the enterprise value. When we look at the customer base, we understand why our customers shopping like they do, and how are the values of the customers changing, and we can do that by combining different sources of data and data points and draw conclusions on that, and that can also help us to predict customer behavior. That is what actually Philip is doing on a short term, but it can also be used for long-term prediction, a trend analysis, probably with a lower prediction quality. Nevertheless, it helps us to understand how the customer base develops. And when it comes to the brands, for example, it helps us to understand what the customer is thinking about the brand. When we collect external data about customer communication, we can identify risks to the brand quite early and respond to that. And that is also part of your digital strategy. So it's not a one-way communication. You put in your brand campaigns into the market, but you listen to your customers and you collect the data, you collect the communication point. And that, of course, helps to increase the value of these assets. And that is contributing to the success of your company.
Thank you, Andreas. Yeah, I think it's really a highly relevant topic to discuss. Unfortunately, we are running out of time. Otherwise, we would create too much data in this room that can't be transmitted anymore. But still, I would like to shoot my last question to Philip. What would you say? What challenges do you see in this ever-growing amount of data in the technological age? I mean, it's a big question, but you are the one to answer.
Yeah. I mean, like 5, 6, 7 years ago, everybody was talking about big data. Nobody was talking about artificial intelligence or data science. Everything was big data. We have to collect as many data as possible. And today, there's a mindset shift. Now we say we have to have the right data. So you need to have the people on board. And of course, like Patric said, you need to have the technology like data lakes, from hyperscaling companies that you can scale yourself, your business at any time, and you can collect many data, but you also need to have the right people who have the competence to analyze those data and select whether this is the right data to keep, and this maybe is something which we can delete or should not be collected. Now we have, of course, data security things and data protection, personal data protection things we have to keep in mind. So yeah, this is of course getting more and more complicated as the possibilities are there out in the internet to collect a lot of data. But in order to have the right customer experience and the best customer experience, it's very important to combine the right data sources and not to collect as many data as possible.
Thank you, Philip. I think this is a smart conclusio. Don't collect more data, but collect the right data and connect the right data. So thank you for sharing your experiences and insights with us. I think this is a highly relevant, really complex topic, but nevertheless quite interesting. So, and if people want to collect, if you, the audience out there, if you want to collect the right information and insights, I can give you a good tip, like stick to Fashion Sustain today and stay in front of your computer or tablet or wherever you are and join the next panels and sessions. I would like to thank you again for taking part in this. And yeah, thank you very much.